Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. Because today I'm going to review the DCeased box set of the whole collection of DCeased. Now, this actually includes, if you see in here, the digital copies that were done online, and then the whole series. So you have DCeased, Unkillables, Hope at World's End, Dead Planet, and War of the Undead Gods. The whole thing. Now, I didn't read the digital because I didn't have the digital, and I remember reading and having some of the originals. In fact, I have a DCeased #1 variant. Variant, Latina variant slab, 9.2, even signed, and so I remember reading some of it, if not most of it. I couldn't remember everything because it was all such a long time ago. So basically, I took a copy to work, read them at lunch, and I made my way through this whole thing, and just got done a couple days ago to refresh myself and get the whole thing, and just get, I don't want to say caught up, but just remember everything. Because one of the things I have an issue with is, some of these things are such a long time ago, you forget, and then you don't catch the whole thing. And that one of the reasons I like trade paperbacks or copies like this is you can just work your way through. You get the whole story, and then you're done. And you can say you want to look something up in issue 1. You can sit here. In a certain issue, you can pop it open and look in here and not have to go searching through your boxes and get each individual issue. Now, I am a fan of certain. There are certain things that I get the floppies for. If you see on my channel, I do my LCS helps, and I get certain things every week, and then and certain books I will just get the floppies. If I really like something, like there's this one book called Malefic, it was done by Dan Schaefer. I got the series. It was a 4 or 6 part miniseries, and I got the trade paperback too. I'll do that every once in a while, or I will have the floppies and then get Omnis. But Omnis are mainly for stuff that I don't have. But let's get back to it. I want to get to this. Now, this, I'm fairly sure, and I could be wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, this is what really launched Tom Taylor, that and the Injustice series. And I have to tell you, this book, this series, is incredible. very, very, very well done. And if I understand correctly, it was done in response to Zombies, Marvel's thing. And in my opinion, it is better. Because this is just brutal. I haven't read all of Marvel's Zombies. I have it right down over there. You might be able to see it. It's in there somewhere. I still need to finish reading it. But this series shows you what Tom Taylor can do. He is exceptionally good at out of continuity, non-canon stuff. Where he can just play with things and have no consequences in canon. He can make changes to characters and do what they need. Kill them off, sort of like our buddy Bruce here, and even Diana. And he does it in a brutal fashion. That is one thing he likes doing, and this is why I think he's better at non-canon than canon. He likes taking things. I don't think he likes certain characters or the legacy characters, so he'll do stuff like it. Take Logan, move him aside, and take X-23, Laura, and make her the real Wolverine. And things like that. So that's why I think he can, that's why he's better at things like this, where it's out of continuity and he can just play with it and let his incredible writing work in these. Because this, I haven't read Injustice, so I can't speak for that, but this is a fantastic series up until the very end of the War of Undead Gods. My only problem with this series is I am not sure, and I really should have looked this up before I started this, but I just thought of this while doing this. I don't think this was thought through all the way through to the end of War of Undead Gods. Excuse me. I think the original plan was just for the initial DCeased run. And do that. And then it blew up like it did. And DC wanted more. But to turn something like the anti-life equation taking over, doing something on Earth, because Victor Stone, was infected and did something, went back to Earth and got the Earth infected, turning that into something that could destroy the universe and the new gods and the old gods seemed a little much. So that's what I'm thinking is, I don't know if they planned this out. And it just seemed, making this a universal threat that would even reach up to above the old and new gods, to Erebos, whatever his name was. and resetting certain parts of the universe. That just seemed a tad much, because maybe, like I said, probably just needed to find an end for this. And that was when I'm reading the end of the Undead Gods, or the Undead Gods. Damien and other guys had to take on this above God level character, and it was going to reset the universe. But it seemed like it only did certain segments of it, but left it the way it was at the end of the book. If you're going to reset the universe, everything should restart over again, or go back to the way it was, or restart over. Yeah, but they just sort of picked and choose what they were going to do. Sort of like a whole, what they did after the New 52, stuff like that. But like I said, this is out of continuity, so it doesn't matter. But it sort of just collapsed on itself at the end. But I have to tell you, this series was incredible up until that point. And you take his fantastic writing, get the art in here, which is unbelievable, right? And you have this. You put it all into a nice little collection here. This is the way to do it. Even if you want to just get the army. Like I said, you can just sit here, pop all the way through it in a nice cardboard container where it's easy for storage, easy to look at, and all that stuff. I'm going to recommend having it this way. I'm going to give it a 8.5 out of 10. I normally go 1 to 5, but I'm just going to get it like an 85%. Just because of basically the last little bit of it. And, it was really nice to see the two digital segments thrown in there as well. So, if you want to get this, you can Amazon. I'm sure some of the other places. I know this is the paperback. They have a hardback as well. I think I don't know if it's in print or not, but I do recommend this because it is, like I said, it is a Tom Taylor out of continuity series, which is his bailiwick and makes it very good. So let me know what you thought of it. Let me know whether you like it in the floppies or in something like this or in the armies. Like, subscribe, possibly share. Most of all, enjoy your comics, whether they're collected or in floppy.